Alright, so good morning and happy Thanksgiving to you all. I'm coming at you from just west of Tonopah, Arizona at a rest stop. I am fortunately making my way back to Southern California, dropping off a load in San Bernardino. I'm going to bobtail to the Mira Loma terminal and get my car and drive the about 90 miles south to Escondido in North County, San Diego, and should be making it in time just for dinner. So I'm pretty stoked because it was a pretty close call overall. I kind of worked it all out where I'm going to make it just in time. But yeah, last time I did that video, I was waiting for to pick up my load in Winfield, Kansas. And basically that night I had showed up and parked outside of the Rubbermaid distribution center and got up, you know, just in time, just before 8 o'clock when my pickup was my appointment pickup time was, and I ended up going inside. Yeah, pretty much since right after my last video, a little bit of a shitstorm hit. So yeah, basically I get inside. Usually you write down the bill of lading number off the Qualcomm, the purchase order number, any information, I write it down in my little book. And I didn't have a pickup number. So I go in, the lady's like, you need a pickup number. So I go and double check, it's not on my Qualcomm. I go back in, I tell her it's not on my Qualcomm, I'm gonna have to call SWFT. So I call SWFT, and it's pretty early. So they're gonna have to contact the Rubbermaid CSR, the customer service representative. So I pretty much wait a half hour, no response. I call them, they say, hey, we're still trying to get a hold of them. I wait 45 minutes, I call them again, they're like, hey man, yeah, the department's closed right now, so we'll get back to you as soon as we can. 2 hours roll by. I'm sitting there realizing I'm eating up my time. I'm trying to get back home for Thanksgiving. This might end up affecting the tail end of this trip and being late for dinner, all that jazz. So I have the smart idea to go in and plead to the lady, because she couldn't look it up based on the bill of lading, based on the PO, based on the company, based on the destination. I said, you don't have a SWFT going to Nogales? She's like, no. Between the 2 hours, it finally hits me, this load isn't going to Nogales. It's a T-call to Mexico. So I'm taking it to Nogales. Someone else from Transmex, the company SWFT owns, the Mexican carrier, is taking it to the final destination. So the lady's really nice. She looks it up. We figure it out. I get my pickup number. Here I am 2 hours into it, and I finally get up the hill to the second facility, and I'm waiting to be loaded, and it takes me like an hour, over an hour to get loaded, or just to start getting loaded, and then I think it took me 3 hours total from the point that I docked to get out of there. So 5 hours I spent at this place. So I wasn't sitting too pretty on that. Again, as I was sitting there, where I was parked on my last video, I was kind of at this entrance. There was enough room for 2 trucks to go in, but I was at the stop sign right at the front. I go in, you know, I'm waiting, and then this freaking truck, this owner-operator's a little more stern in their outlook, especially upon rookies, and SWFT is obviously a rookie company. This guy starts pulling into the second lane to go out, and he's waving me down like, hey man, you're too far up, when I'm right at the stop sign A. There's plenty of room for him to swing around. He's just going out of his way to kind of be a freaking bro and tell the new guy what's up. And he's actually going down a wrong way. It says clearly on these 2 signs, do not enter, entrance only. So here he is telling me that I'm wrong, that I'm pulled up too close. And so he's passing me by, and I start saying something to him. He actually stops and backs up, and I'm like, you're going the wrong way, man. He's like, what? I'm like, you're going the wrong way. He's like, you see that stop sign way down there? The stop sign was for personal cars, employees. They could go down this, but not trucks. So here's this guy telling me I'm wrong. I'm telling him he's wrong, and that's pretty much what truckers love to do, call each other out on bullshit. But so that was kind of funny. Finally, someone taps on my window like, dude, you need to move your truck over. It's like, dude, you can get around. It's more the principle. They just want you to be pulled over, and then the whole, I had my flashers off for the video, all that stuff. So whatever. So as I'm waiting, I call SWFT based on some scale tickets you get reimbursed for $10 Two of them hadn't shown up. One of them accidentally went to my teammate, Iman, my old teammate, and one of them went to, it was a T call that I picked up. I was the second driver, and I picked up, and I think it was heavy, so I rescaled it. Because when you do a T call, you're supposed to scale it, leave it with the paperwork. The next guy gets it, scales it if it's heavy. And so I do all this, and I think they paid the previous driver my $10 for it. So I call, and I figure that all out. And as I have them on the phone, I have them transfer me to tuition reimbursement department. So I talked to this girl, and basically my initial driver leader, who quit a week into Iman and I even being on with Swift as company drivers, we were under the impression with Swift that you have to wait till your 7th week to become eligible for your tuition reimbursement. It's $150 a month up to $5,000. We were under the impression from our former driver leader that you had to wait 7 weeks from becoming a company driver, not from the 6 weeks of training, and then the 7th week is when it becomes eligible. So basically, I call, neither Iman and I's paperwork had been faxed through. We did it the day of our first day as company drivers, the day we got our truck, but it didn't go through, and it's our fault because we didn't call and verify that the girl got our tuition statements, all this stuff. So basically, we got screwed out of $150 for the month of November. So that was a little bit eating me. So between the 2-hour wait, then I got that, then I talked to Iman. He's doing pretty great doing local, making over $15 an hour, because if you do local, you get hourly, you don't get miles. So he's making over $15 an hour, getting 70 hours a week. So he's going to be clearing over $4 grand a month, pretty much. So when that hit me, it was just a trifecta of just like, I was pissed. I called my mom. I was pretty irate. But I mean, he's got a wife, 2 kids. Good for him. He lives in LA, right next to that local terminal. So it's not like something I could do. But so that was all a thing. I finally get out of there. I get out of Dodge. I'm out of Kansas. I'm making my way through Oklahoma, making my way through Texas, making my way into New Mexico. I somehow developed this really freaking bad sore throat. Not like a typical, I don't know what it was, but it was really bad. Luckily, I hoped by the time I went to bed I would sleep it off. So I did. I woke up. It was all good. So then I'm making my way. I end up sleeping at the Love's, which was right next to the TA I slept at the night I woke up before my big winter run. So I made it back to Santa Rosa. That day I took the trip down to Nogales, Arizona, and as I'm going on a 55-mile-an-hour road, going a little bit over, I'm approaching this hill, and this car passes me, just a personal car, and flashes me and waves me. I'm like, I know there's a cop over that hill. So right as I hit that crest of the hill, I slowed down to about 57, and there he was sitting there. So I was pretty stoked that I avoided all that. Another thing is I did hit Interstate 19 going south from Nogales, which is actually the only highway in the entire country, my trainer told me weeks ago, that is measured on kilometers, not miles. So it's kind of trippy. I don't know who did that. If they're trying to keep it close to home in Mexico, I have no idea. So then, so here's what happened. I get this load, this destination on this load. I show up to the shipper, or to the final destination. It's a Transmex Swift little terminal. The guy says it's supposed to have been delivered to this place about 2 miles away. They closed at 5. They open again on Monday. And for some reason, I didn't get dispatched to the right place. But it was totally serendipitous, because if I had been, that place would have been closed. I wouldn't have known what to do. So I ended up going to the Swift one I just spoke of, talking to the guy, telling him, dude, I'm leaving it here. I don't care. If it's 2 miles away, someone can come pick it up from here and be on their way. It's Thanksgiving tomorrow. I'm getting out of here, dude. So I drop it off. He lets me do it. I leave. I go about 7 miles to the address that I punched in for the next pickup. Turns out it was the wrong address. It was the wrong place. My pickup was actually at the place I was just at. So I turn around in my bobtail. I'm actually bobtailing. And what do you know? Another cop is right behind me, and he's tailing me again, and he realizes I'm a Swiftie, and the terminal's right over the hill, and I went the wrong way. So that was 2 cops in one incident. And then I get back to the guy, and he's like, man, I don't think that your trailer's here. There's nothing going out, nothing going out. And I do the loop around the place. I find my freaking trailer, and I'm homeward bound at this point. So I'm pretty stoked. They wanted to send me up the 8. I'm taking the 10 because it saves me about 20 miles. And I will be home just in time. I'll get to my personal car at 3:30. I'll be home by 5. Dinner's at 5.